Hello and good evening, everyone. This is going to be my third and the last one for the day. This particular webinar is going to be focusing on the impact or the role that languages play in a student's life. Every student or an adult, in that case, is definitely prone to more than one language. We have our home language, we have our state language, some obviously Hindi as our country's language, and several more that the students and we as adults are used to. Definitely, all these languages are very, very helpful. Being a multilingualistic is, I think, it's a boon, and definitely it adds up to a lot of advantage to wherever you are. Nowadays, there is also a zeal in the youngsters, also the adults who definitely want to learn different languages from various countries. So that is also one of the things which has added up recently, and a lot of schools have been offering various languages at various levels. And definitely it has been helpful to the students. So I do have a small video talk which I had recorded with one of the language enthusiast, Mrs. Angela Vaz. I would like to share that with you all at this moment. Just give me a moment to share it. So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining in. I definitely looking forward to this discussion, especially because this is related to languages and I am a language freak. And secondly, the reason is that because I have someone very special who's joining in today for this webinar with me. And let me introduce her to you. That is Miss Yanjela Vaz. And she is a yoga enthusiast and a very strong advocate for mental health and, of course, for physical health also. And she is someone who is equally enthusiastic and always excited to pick up new things, and especially languages. And I have also seen that she has till date volunteered also in the language classrooms of the various schools that we have been teaching in. So we'll start off now, and I think I'll just share the PowerPoint presentation that has been prepared. Those are with some questions, and we'll also be taking up certain questions from the audience as such. Yeah, so Yanjela, I'll just begin with.
Okay. Thank you.
Please let me know once you're able to see the screen, Yanjela.
Okay.
Yeah, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the audience, if any one of you is not able to view it, you can please put it up in the chat box so that I can view the settings in case if you're not able to view it properly. Okay, so multilingualism. In your perspective, what is multilingualism? Let us hear from our two audience who are here with us. Ms. Shalini, if you can, please share your views with us. I can unmute you.
Multilingualism is nothing but it's just adding of more than one languages.
Okay, all right. What about Ms. KP? I see you here. If you can please share your views about it.
Yes, the same.
All right.
How?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I guess, Angela, that we would like to hear more from you as to, what do you think that multilingualism is all about?
See, according to me, multilingualism, it depends on the country that you come from. Like in India, for instance, most of us, I think, speak 2 to 3 languages easily. It'll be Hindi, English, and your mother tongue, or the regional language. So that is, I think most Indians know that. But when you know more than 3,
Right.
including a foreign language or even another language other than your mother tongue, So say about 4 to 5 languages, that would be multilingualism.
Right. All right. Okay. Thank you. So moving
Okay.
on, we'll just
Yes.
see that, how is multilingualism beneficial to the speaker, Yanchela? Like, what are the advantages, that the person who speaks several languages would have?
So here I could share my story.
Mhm.
See, when I came to Mumbai long time ago, I only knew English, Hindi, my mother tongue, and the regional language. So that was already 4.
Hmm.
And I was already, very enthusiastic about learning languages right from my school days.
Right.
So I used to browse a lot of anything that I could. When I grew up, there was not much information and no place to access to any institutions or anything to learn foreign languages. So I was always on the lookout to learn a foreign language. And somehow I was attracted to French. And when I came to Mumbai, um, then and when I got the chance, I started learning French. So that was a very good experience for me because first of all, um, many of the students were much younger than me. So for me, I had to really catch up to learn with them. And that was a real challenge. So after so many years, when I thought my brain was not working, I realized that yes, it was working. It was not only working, it was functioning very well. Because after some time and at a certain age, you start thinking, oh my God, I'm just doing this humdrum life.
Right.
Am I really using what I learned? So, all my learning skills, the way I was learning, I discovered myself as a learner. So, and then I made new friends, young friends, very
Right.
important, because then I could understand their world,
Right.
how they thought, how young people thought, how young women thought, most of them,
Right.
So it is a whole different world that opens up for you.
Right. Right.
Yes.
I would like to, share here, Angela, that when I moved out of Mumbai, I definitely, equipped the language skills of speaking in English, Hindi, Marathi, because we have studied that in school, and also Gujarati, because I have always lived in that kind of surrounding and the culture. So these languages were something which I was very much familiar with. And when I moved out of Mumbai, I moved to the south of India, which was in Tamil Nadu. And of course, a majority of the people there, because it was not a metro city, spoke only in Tamil. And I remember that the first few days when I went there, even when I had to go for shopping, I used to actually take my phone along and show the pictures to the people, the shopkeeper especially, that if he can identify what the picture is about and give me what I want. But in that also there were sometimes things, especially groceries, which had a lot of varieties, and what exactly are you looking forward to. So salt, because salt has different varieties. The same with tea. If you use a specific brand, it was a little difficult, for me to actually explain, and it used to lead to a lot of frustration also. But slowly, when I started picking up the words from my mom's help and from the friends and the colleagues who were working with me, I think it became a lot more easier. And I started, connecting those words to at least some or the other base of the language. Maybe certain words I felt that they were more connecting to English or Hindi or Marathi, or had some kind of basic formation coming
Yes.
in from there, which was very helpful ideally. So that was there. I don't know if our audience, Ms.
Yeah.
Shani and Ms. KP, have something similar to share about. If you wish to, you can do it right now, or we can move ahead. Either ways is fine.
So,
Yes, we do have.
Hetal, when you talked about shopping,
Uh-huh.
sorry, carry on.
Thank you, ma'am. So when I got married, I was supposed to transfer to Bihar, Munger.
Okay.
I was staying in Munger. So
Huh.
there, there was Hindi as well as Bengali. So I
Okay.
know Hindi, but Bengali I don't know.
Okay.
And the same thing, I also faced the same problem. It was 12 years back, and we don't have that much kind of technological this thing. Mobile and all were not in use. So I was struggling a lot. That time I was thinking, why can't we go with this multilinguistic languages? That was my experience. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Yes, Angela, I think you were telling us something that time, when you
Yeah.
remember the word shopping.
When you're talking about shopping,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're talking about shopping, I just realized
Huh.
that once we were vegetable shopping, my husband and I,
Right.
and yeah, I speak Marathi, by the way.
Huh.
So I was interested in knowing about one vegetable that I had not seen before, because I come from a different part of the world. So I asked that lady in Marathi, what is this vegetable? And she told me the name.
Huh.
And then I asked her, how do you cook it?
Huh.
Because I wanted to know the Marathi recipe for it.
Right.
So, because I'm not very good with cooking vegetables, okay? So, so she told me the recipe and I was listening to her and as I was asking her questions and all that. And my husband at that time was standing a little far.
Huh.
So after we finished, I said thank you to her and I walked away. Then my husband asked me, do you know her? I said, no, I don't know her. He said, but you all are chatting like old friends. See, this is what language does. Immediately the bonding happens and we
Right.
shared recipes.
Right.
So, yeah, this is very, yeah.
Right. So
You
I think
find
it is
friends everywhere.
so I guess it is one more additional,
Yeah.
I would say benefit to the speaker, right? Apart from what you, just now guided us with, I think this is also one more very additional one and an important one because, sometimes that spark, the creating a bond, I think that is what you need at some times, that moment is needed. Okay, so we'll move ahead.
Yeah.
And okay, so now there's this question, which I want to ask, two of our members who are present here with us. That in your views, what do you think that being multilingualism, does it have more of advantages or does it have more of disadvantages? What is your view on it?
It's more advantageous
Okay.
I
because
think
when
we
we
already,
know,
Yes. Please continue.
yeah, when we know more than one language, it as I saw in previous slide, it obviously builds up the network.
Right.
Our friend circles are getting increased because we know them, and the way we interact with them is also going to be get improved. It creates a bonding, and it creates a comfortability. If you are going to in a professional life, it creates a comfortability during the time of working, other than a official language which we are communicating. The local language which helps us to work better for a better productivity, as well as when you go out and even in the family we can teach our kids. When we know more languages, we can help say them that this language has this particular accent and the meanings, and which help our kids also to learn more.
Hmm.
So on the whole, I feel more of advantage, though the disadvantage would be uh, the the time period which you are taking for learning a new language. That could be one of a disadvantage, but it will be something interesting if we learn more languages.
Right.
Thank you.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you for sharing that.
Ah, yeah. That is interesting what you said about the time period,
Hmm.
because not
Yes, it
everybody has
improves.
that block time. Sorry, please.
It improves the
Hello. I think we lost her. No, she's here. Okay. Yes.
sorry, it got disconnected.
No problem. Yeah. Please tell us.
So it will improve our learning, and
Mhm.
we will be feeling proud usually how if we are learning more than 4 languages, and if we know more than 4 languages,
Right.
obviously we will be proud of that. And
Right.
1 or 2 languages, if we know automatically third and fourth language, it will be easy for us to learn quickly,
Right. Hmm.
since we are experienced with that.
Hmm.
And it will help to take good decisions and all. Taking decision skills, those things and all will be improved.
Right. Right. I see that, we have two more members who are here. So I see Miss Anjali and Miss Raji. So we would like to know that, what are your views about that, knowing a lot of languages or maybe being multilingual, does it have more of advantages or disadvantages? What are your viewpoints on it?
Good morning to all. Yes, here this is Raji. I feel like getting into the multilingualistic thing, it's an advantage to us. Like you try to understand different cultures, and that helps you to get that confident of knowing about other people very well, and it develops the um, knowledge. Like you can just no need to think about like what others feel like when you want to discuss something. It opens up, like you get that confident like to talk with them, whatever the topic or whatever the discussion need to be done. It brings that self interest and the confidence in you to discuss with them. And even when you move with small kids of like that group of people, when you know the language, it makes them to get that bonding easily with them.
Right.
When you just want to like have an interaction with them, when you know the language, you can directly go talk to them, gel with them, and it brings that bonding. And if you don't know the language, really they step one step back from you, looking at you like, what is that they are saying? We don't understand it.
Exactly.
So so in that way, it is something like multilingualistic kind of thing, like knowing more than 3 to 4 languages, especially the regional language where we stay. It really supports a lot.
Right, it does. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, Miss Anjali.
Yeah, I do agree with her, but I have a diverse perspective. I feel that once you know the language thoroughly, then it will really help. But when you learn a language, you learn the culture aspect of it, and that gives you a different perspective. So when you're looking at a particular thing, you're looking from that culture's perspective also. So it broadens your perspective. Definitely, like she said, that it is very helpful for the teachers to reach out to students who come from different colloquial language. So that's an added advantage. But when you're learning a language, you need to learn the depths of it. You just can't pick up a few words here and there and then just converse, because it will be like a blind spot that you'll be working on. You will be knowing few things, but you don't know exactly why the child is saying that particular thing. So I feel multilingualism, but one in depth, will really help.
Right. Yeah, I think I relate to, the perspective which you just gave, because I have, landed up in that kind of situation where I was just talking about the word where it was not even pronounced very well. And not just one, but several words, and trying to make broken sentences out of it. And sometimes, it may also hurt out the sentiments of the local people, because there might be some cultural connection to it, and which we might maybe not pronouncing it properly, or maybe not understanding that what exactly it means, and using it in the wrong form may definitely have a disadvantage. I would also like to share here, on a lighter note, that I have recently been learning German, and at the same time, I'm also teaching a few DP students. So I have one of my student who's basically aspiring to go to Germany, and he wants to study, pursue his higher studies over there. So when I put across this question to them, he specifically pointed out that he feels it's a big disadvantage. The reason being that the language is very, very difficult, but he is somehow feeling that he's forcibly learning the language because he has to go to that specific country. So where he wants to study, but then it's a forceful thing that he has to know that country's language, the regional language, whereas he has no intention or love or joy for learning that particular language, and that's why he's finding it extremely difficult than the others as well. Which I think, Angela, maybe you can tell us a little more about, that the advantages, the disadvantages.
Yeah. So at the top of my head, the disadvantage that I can think of is one time I was talking to my neighbor, and she's a Maharashtrian, So I was at that time just learning Marathi. I had picked up few sentences, words, and as a new learner, you know how you want to try out your new skill, right?
Right.
So I was talking about her son, and I said he is. I don't remember the word, but I said he is whatever.
Huh.
Huh? You know, like she was not happy. She was, in fact, I think quite annoyed.
Right.
So I said, I'm sorry, did I use the wrong word? And she said, yes. And she said, what did you mean? I said, I meant that he is very, energetic or sharp or whatever. And she said, no, you said just the opposite, you know. So
Right.
that way you could hurt somebody's sentiments, as a new thing. But I see more advantages than disadvantages. Because like somebody mentioned, your world opens up, your perspective, the way you think, the way you understand people, the way you look at their culture, you are much more, you are less judgmental. You are much more forgiving of the things that they do. Because sometimes you don't know what culture they come from, right? And usually the culture and the language is always entwined, it's together. And as talking about your student, I was just thinking how I struggled because I was not a young child learning a language. When you're young, it's much more faster because you don't have so many things, distracting you.
Huh.
But I was much, much older. So I also struggled a lot. And I had to learn to be more accepting of my mistakes and be more forgiving that, yes, you are human. I had to tell myself many times, yes, you are human. You can make mistakes, but these are learning mistakes. So long as you don't make the same mistake over and over again, you learn from your mistakes and you move on. So that is what a learner is, right?
True.
Yeah.
True. Makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving ahead, we have a next question. Okay. So, how can multilingualism be encouraged in children? How can we encourage multilingualism in children? I think it's open to all, including Angela, whoever wants to start first.
See, this is what happens when you learn many languages, you keep on thinking in so many languages, you keep on shifting from this language to that language, and your mind keeps on, like, it's very energetic. Okay, so I was, the thing is, my kids don't speak many languages. Okay, they speak they're fluent in English and Hindi, and they understand other languages, other regional languages, foreign languages, because when I take them around, when I used to take them around as a kid, they saw me talking in different languages to the local people, to with their cousins, and so it was not a new sound for them. They're constantly hearing these different sounds. So even if they do not speak it, they understand it. Like when I speak French, they know the French terminology and other languages also. Like I know a smattering of say Spanish or German. I can just sort of I can make myself understood if I go there. Like I can buy a bottle of wine in Germany, or I can ask for directions in France. That way, I will not be lost. And they are comfortable like that. They know that if you don't know, you ask. And they are very familiar with all the different sounds. So that is the first initial step to a child learning, hearing the different sounds and being familiar with it. So once you're familiar with the sound, the next step is just to go into the next step, and then you're okay. You're already there. You finished the first like ground digging, So all you have to do is plant the soil is soft. You just have to put the plants in. That's it.
Right. Yeah, and the seeds sprout up, right? The seeds sprout up, right? You just ignite that, what do you call, sort of, just like how we, provoke them for something. And I think sometimes those provocations work out in a very wonderful way. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's. Yes. Sorry, Angela. Yes.
No, what I was going to say is, but till the plants come up, the road is not easy, you know, because
Yeah.
there's
Agreed.
frustration, anger. You want to beat
Absolutely.
yourself sometimes, say how stupid I was, but then
Right.
you know that yes, okay, I've learned. Yes.
Absolutely. Agreed. Yes. So what do the other people want to, share about it?
Oh, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yes. So the multilingualism in the families, for example, if father speaks Tamil and mom speaks Telugu, and as a kid, if he speaks English, so on the whole, the kid is going to learn English, I mean Telugu and Tamil. For
Right.
example, I'm telling. So this is
Uh,
how we encourage our children, though the official language is in English, where whenever he exposed to the society or the environment, obviously has so many persons to learn English.
right.
So that's not a problem. When we come and get into the family and when he needs to learn his native language, so someone in the family is provoking in the native regional language. And for the mother tongue, one more person is provoking him with the mother tongue. So
Right.
this is how we can encourage in the family.
Right.
If you take it in the school, the
Uh,
greetings as a part of a migration, when we take an IB school, the migration plays a major role where we
absolutely.
have all set of kids.
Mm.
The once we get in, then for the grade one kid, once they get in, they are not aware of an English, so they're very
Right.
comfortable in greeting in their own language.
Right.
One funny thing which happened, even one of my colleagues is also over here. In her class, the person, I'm not sure about the foreign language what the kid was speaking.
Uh-huh.
The two kids were discussing, and we do not know the exact meaning what they were discussing. And my colleague, when she had just browsed it and she found the meaning, and we were just uh, giggling at them that see how the kids are just discussing, but we are
Right.
very comfortable.
Right.
So from that time, my colleague started browsing that particular foreign language, and she was just saying that this means this particular
Okay.
means this.
Huh.
So this was the things happening, and even the children are provoking the adults. Vice versa is happening.
Right.
So and the community is also learning so many things. These are the different few steps which helps us to learn so many languages. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for sharing. Okay. All right. So yes, somebody else wants to share something?
No, I was just talking. I was thinking
Uh-huh.
about what she just said.
Hmm.
So, you know, with young kids, especially when they hear different sounds, even in their own house.
Hmm.
So, she's talking about Telugu and Tamil. So, it is so easy for the child, you know, sometimes they
Right.
mix two languages together and
Yeah.
speak because they're so comfortable thinking in both. So,
Right.
that
Right.
comfort
Right.
factor is there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like I was once, in a grade two class, and this is
yeah.
a few years back, and there was a student who had migrated, from a very, I would say, from a very rural side of India, and he was trying to pick up the English words, looking at all his peers in the classroom, and I think he was doing a fantastic job. But suddenly, in the lunch break, there was some kind of mess going on around, and when he was asked about it, that what exactly happened, because he was in a tough situation with his peers, and he kind of blurted out that somebody has eaten up one of the friends tiffin box, and this boy, everybody was claiming that he's the one who has eaten the food from the box, and he kind of clarified saying that I know Ita. Okay, so basically he wanted to say that I did not eat it, but I guess that he was finding it so difficult, to put it across. But I think at that time we all encouraged him, and we appreciated him for at least trying that out, because he had all the intentions of using the correct words of the English language at that time. So I think these are small incidents. Okay, now. All right. So as you guys, heard about this interesting conversation and how languages have their own advantages and disadvantages as well. And of course, every person has a different story to say, especially related to some or the other language. And when we are traveling, there are different incidents which take place many a times due to the lack of the local language. At times, even if the language is similar, there are certain accents or certain words which are maybe pronounced differently. But I guess that Being a multilingualist person is definitely a boon because that takes you places. Language is one such thing which connects people and souls very beautifully, and as many languages as we know, definitely it is very, very helpful. It gives us a little more insight into the various culture also, which are related to those languages. And some of them are very deep rooted, right? So thank you so much for being here with us, and keep learning various languages and keep using them too. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye.